to set.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Action!
Let's buff some Mortal Kombat 1995. We got personal stories today. I just want to tell you about the young mind of the film buff. That's me, by the way. And who am I? Peter A. DeLuca, known as AKAPAD on some social media networks, on others, even AKAPAD69. That's what I use to sign my artwork and other things of my creations. But I always thought it was cool, original. I came up with it when I was young. I've stuck with it ever since. But in life, we grow. We get some wings. We get other interests. And, well, I've been interested and obsessed with film and movies for a long time. And this is the beginning of another obsession. Because we have a couple series running right now. We have a baseball series. We have a Femme Assassin series. We have a Street Fighter series that is complementary to this series. And here, Mortal Kombat 1995. My buddy Joe, we could talk about the movie. Look, here's the plot. It's a bunch of people fighting. It's somewhat post-apocalyptic. It's this utopian. Everyone's fighting in the tournament to prevent the bad guys, which is the underworld or overworld or dark world. But either way, they have portals. If they win one more tournament, all of those evil guys, and some of them are very ugly looking, but they got cool powers. They can do cool things like freeze you and set you on fire. They just, mental mind bullet stuff. But if they win, they get to take over Earth. Earth sends it's the last tournament. A guy named Raiden. He's electricity dude. He's if you've seen Big Trouble in Little China, you've seen Raiden. Raiden has a bunch of guys. One of them's a Bruce Lee ripoff, and they go fight, and they have to go win, and they win. And then along the way, we have a guy named Goro. That's the prince. He's got 4 arms. If you guys remember the teaser poster of this movie, they promoted Goro within the teaser poster, which was highly effective for young minds like myself. And going back, so that's the whole plot, and the good guys win. Here's the story. My friend Joe, and I talk about Joe fondly because him and I we've tried to connect a few times, but Joe was a mixed kid. He was like Obama, but he was African American. I never really met his mother. I only heard of his mother. Joe came into my life through my mother. My mother worked for the school system, and she knew of him. And somehow through my mother, Joe and I were introduced, and we were, I believe, in middle school. And I think he was like a grade or 2 above me, which was like fantastic. Yeah, being a little bit friendly with an older kid. So he would come pick me up. Older, I believe too, he might have been held back like once or twice. But in my view, Joe was always just like a smart kid, just like hanging around him. Maybe not great academically, but he was almost like aging out of school. He looked older, had a fantastic, no homo, fantastic body. He was into martial arts. I think you guys know where this is going. And he would just pick me up sometimes, and we would go see movies and hang out afterward and talk to him. And we went on a run of, a lot of my Jean-Claude Van Damme film experiences were with Joe. He loved Jean-Claude Van Damme. Joe could do a split. He had these amazing thighs. And just for like a young dude that played soccer, him and I both played soccer. It was just, again, to me, he was like a superhero that couldn't get through school. He would later join the armed forces and served his country, and I think that's historic, fantastic, wonderful stuff. So he drags me to see Blade one day, and I'm blown away by how fantastic and great Blade. Remember, Blade was not a superhero movie. Blade was a Wesley Snipes action movie. The dorks afterwards labeled Blade a superhero movie. The originals, the OGs know Blade as a Wesley Snipes kick-ass martial arts movie. And that's that, my AKA powders. Don't let people fool you. Blade is not a superhero movie. It wasn't even marketed as such. We would later rent like Replicant from Jean-Claude Van Damme. A lot of the if we can get into the Jean-Claude Van Damme filmography. I remember us seeing Time Cop in the theater. We would rent Hard Target. Maximum Risk 1996. That was the one that just with Ringo Lam directing that movie. I remember us like really being confused with Double Team, with him and Dennis Rodman. Knockoff. We missed Legionnaire. We missed The Quest, which is directed by Jean-Claude. But yeah, like years later, here we go. We would rent The Replicant in the Order 2001, 2 direct-to-videos. That might have been like The Order might have been the last Jean-Claude Van Damme movie I watched with him. And along all of this, we would kind of like sprinkle in Street Fighter, but we never considered Street Fighter a Van Damme movie. It was just too Hollywood kind of. But one of the movies that him and I went to go see was the 1995 Mortal Kombat. And as soon as the movie starts, which is fire, and the Mortal Kombat beat hits. So this music from Mortal Kombat, which is still heard in clubs and arenas to this day in sports, there's a generation of individuals that have no idea that Mortal Kombat is a video game movie soundtrack. They don't know what they're hearing. Now it's just sampled and reused. It's one of the most influential beats, or even to this day, like even to right now, Mortal Kombat opening is as influential as the Star Wars opening. And the movie hits. And then we get that flashback sequence where I want your soul, which turns out to be a Liu Kang dream. Great gotcha sequence. But the movie hits. Like it hits right away. And we get our characters. We get Sonya. We get Jax. We get Reptile. But that's not our Reptile from the games. It's still close enough though. And then Raiden and Christopher Lambert as Raiden is just awesome. But we get this cast of characters. We get Johnny Cage. We see Goro. Like Goro is right there on screen. And we get an idea of the tournament. We get matches that happen within the tournament as early on in the beach when they get off the boat. We have matches that are outside the tournament. I remember the Johnny Cage Scorpion fight where they're in the bamboo forest and they're kind of going between dimensions and like dream worlds within like Scorpio's like power or purview. I remember watching that sequence, just saying, this is some of the greatest, most fantastic stuff. The martial arts stuff in Mortal Kombat rocked me. We get the Liu Kang fight. I mean, I get it's a bucket of water when you fight Sub-Zero, but holy crap. And then to rewind it, the moment where Sub-Zero and Scorpion walk on screen to the music, and you see that they're like we know some of the game. They're supposed to be enemies, but they're henchmen. We're close enough. You're just like, holy hell. We get a movie with an ending we see coming. Liu Kang's gonna fight the soul-stealing mother effer that killed his brother. But then we get this ending. We get the ending that it's just not over yet. And Shao Kahn, the Emperor of Outworld. I know I was making fun of it earlier. Outworld. It's not over yet. And we get this absolute definition of how to continue a franchise. And that ending of the 95 Mortal Kombat movie is so freaking good. it really, in my view, that's the single thing that changed the franchise, where the story can keep going, and maybe the good guys don't win, and we would go all the way up to Mortal Kombat, I think 9, right, like 9 or 10, where Liu Kang is dead, and Liu Kang is running Outworld, and he's betrayed all of his friends. It's one of the best fictional arcs in existence. And Joe and I, we watched this movie, and I remember, I think we might have went back like the next day to watch it again. He got off of work and came by to pick me up, and we saw it again. And again, we were just like, couldn't believe our eyes and ears. And Joe and I would talk about seeing this movie together, even to this day. Whenever he calls me, I kind of lose track of him. Like what I always try and remind him, and he always seems to be eager to remind me of just what that day was like, what that moment was like. If I speak to Joe like recently, like let's just say like he calls me tomorrow or I speak with him tomorrow, I mean, we're going to talk about Mortal Kombat coming out this year, Mortal Kombat 2, and what he thought of the previous one, and is he excited, or is there anyone in the movie that he's tracking or knows? Because like I said, he's more connected to the martial arts stuff. But AKAPAD 95 really, that year, and I call it a little bit like the New Line Cinema year, because around this time you would get Mortal Kombat, The Crow, Spawn, you would get Dark City, just a lot of these movies that are like we can even put Equilibrium and The Matrix all within this little spectrum here, in the way how these movies just tonally and stylistically handshake and complement one another. And The Matrix might have been like the end of this run, which is also maybe arguably the best of all of the movies. Matrix and The Crow to me is a two-headed dragon. But 2 years later, we would get Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and never want to watch that movie ever again. Like, that's how you go from euphoria to what the hell is this? And I think I just also recall Joe being way more kind with Annihilation. There's a lot about that. And again, him being older, I think he liked some of the girls in it. He was happy with that. Me, jaded little film buff dude, didn't like the story, and I had to be vocal on it. But AKAPAD, a little bit of my personal experience with Mortal Kombat 1995. Love you guys, rock and roll.
Okay, that's a wrap.